All right, all right.
All right,
This
welcome.
is
Oh,
this
David,
is
welcome. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but this was my favorite. It's my favorite introduction because whenever we're talking about your congressman, I'm so eager to get started. Oh
yes,
my
we are.
goodness!
Go
Welcome
for it.
everybody.
Do the
Well,
introduction. Go for it.
look,
Go for it.
welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We are so grateful to have you here at You Can't Make This Shit Up because you can't make this shit up. This is your host, David Washington. I am your host, Joel Hoxley. We are the JN Washington Network. We are so excited. John, thank you from 7th Legion Media. I don't want to screw anything up,
Seventh
but I'm
Legion
having a
Multimedia.
great multimedia. Yes, I'm so excited to be here today because we get to talk about my favorite congressman, Maxwell Frost. I mean, Maxwell Frost is in a fight now. He's going to fight the cancel culture. He's out there with a new bill that's going to sock it to the the Moms for Liberty and everything else. 40% of all book banning or book burning is coming from the state of Florida. So he's introducing $15 million over 5 years. Now, for those that don't understand that, that's 15 million over 5 years. So you got to get to 15 million over 5 years. It's not like you're going to get, people get this wrong, right? It's not like you're getting $75 million. You're only still getting 15 million. And he's only allocating $100,000 to a school district that needs to fight the book banning. So I don't know if Morgan and Morgan can work for that cheap. I don't know what this is all a publicity stunt because guess what? There's 321,000 school districts in the United States of America. If you try to give them all $100,000 to defend themselves from book banning, if you do the math, technically only two school districts would actually benefit from this. 30 would be the maximum you could actually accommodate, but most people won't apply because of the red tape and the federal government. So, with all that said, David, can you take and make sense of this thing because it doesn't do shit.
I can't. I can't. And just like the proposed legislation, and with respect to the representative, I get it. He needs to show that he is accomplishing things in his freshman term. I get it. And just like his legislation to create that office on gun violence and studying the gun violence. We did an episode about this earlier this year,
Yep.
and it wasn't going anywhere. We knew that. We knew that it was that
Exactly.
legislation wasn't going anywhere. However, his
However,
friends
he got saved by the president.
his friends in the White House had a nice little ceremony on a Friday evening to announce that they're creating this office under the auspices of the vice president, I believe, to study gun violence and how to address it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, ad nauseum. When there are so many different entities, including the Chinese, who are studying this issue and have solutions. And this is one of the frustrating things that I have about government is that we create these bureaucracies that have dollars attached to them only to serve as patronage, serve as publicity, and it's not going to deliver any additional safety for myself or for my team, my family, those I care about. And this goes the same for this legislation, this proposal to provide $15 million for school districts to fight book bans. How about this, Congressman Frost, Democrats? How about you all work with people in the community who actually work with individuals with great ideas for their communities and help them become legislators, school board members who could push back on the so-called book bans and the culture wars and the wokeism
Oh
that
no,
are being discussed. How about
David,
that?
David, that would be common sense. That would be smart. That would be like, hey, why don't you create a grant that I can apply for here at Jay in Washington that can actually assist you in getting the right people into the right places to make sure that the right results are being attained, right? This is,
Especially here in
hey,
Florida.
I tried to do this, David, because I was having so much fun with this one. Because I really was. I'm trying to be a frost. I'm trying to be a frosty in the state of Florida. I'm trying to find a way to, get there. And I said, well, let's look at homelessness. I mean, it's not a federal issue, but let's look at homelessness. What would $15 million over 5 years do for homelessness? So I tried to do the calculations. And everything said there's absolutely no way to calculate it because there's 50 different states with 50 different economies, and the federal government doesn't need to be involved in homelessness. It's because it's a local issue. Send those dollars down to the local. Send those dollars with no strings attached. Send those dollars down to the local school districts. You
Send
have a
us.
Department of Education that $15 million, they're laughing at it. The Department of Education is saying, sure, you're gonna talk to your constituents in Orange County. That's the only ones you're talking to, and you're gonna, okay, here's $15 million. They're gonna see 15 million. They're not gonna see that it could be 1 million the first year. It could be 6 million one year. It could be 1 million because the allocations could be different. So all it's a promise is $15 million over 5 years, and the maximum your school district can actually apply for won't cover the legal costs. Your local government still ends up with the biggest burden. So this is why I want people out there to understand the federal government does you no good on local issues. Jay in Washington,
Agreed.
we're looking out for you. We're trying to get your focus on the local government. We know that the mayor's trying to do certain things, whether I agree with him or not. He's trying to better transportation. He has a different way of getting there than we do.
Right.
Focus there. Frost, you are frozen out of the conversation because you need to be working with the local government and seeing how you can help them boost their financial needs to tackle this. Again, focus on the bottom of the ticket. This is a great topic, David, because this just proves Washington D.C. is broken. The politicians
Disconnected.
are politicians are bribing you with
Mm.
these numbers that mean nothing. And this legislation will not pass two houses of Congress. It will not get out of a budget committee. We can't even create a budget, for Christ's sakes. We have to keep continuing resolutions.
Right.
I just said all that with one breath, and I apologize, David, but I love this topic, and it's all yours.
It was served up to us, and again, I understand the politics. At the same time, Florida Democrats have an issue with having a bench of potential highly qualified candidates to run for offices. And instead of throwing money at a situation, money that is unaccountable to anyone, how about within the Democratic organization, you build a bench and you put forth some really good candidates to run for school board, to run for county commissioner, to run for county mayor, to run for city commissioner, city mayor, and this to speak to the homelessness issue. America's happiest mayor, Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, just won re-election. He will serve, I think, about a quarter of a century as mayor of Orlando. And look at the great job he's done with homelessness. It has been nearly wiped out here in Orlando. 20
Really?
years, 20 years work in defeating homelessness in Orlando.
Well, what about all those tents in Paramore City? I
And
mean,
a good point.
Paramore,
Yeah.
like
Mm.
when you drive down the street and there's just all these tents on both sides, and you have You have the services right there. I mean, if you go to Paramore, like it's like a roller coaster because we're in the city of entertainment, right?
That's
Every
correct.
once it's about your economy. Every once in a while, the tents go up. Sometimes the tents come down. You know, we relocate some people, but we have an issue with housing.
A
We
huge
have
issue
to.
of homelessness in Orange County and Orlando, and so much money has been thrown at this issue. Maybe it's an issue of leadership.
Maybe it is a leadership issue. And here's David. I know the Democrats aren't going to want to hear this from me. But what I would suggest, if I was running the Democratic Party right now, I would say, you know, we usually get complacent when we get a person like Frost in office, right? Hey, we got a Democrat, we're good. Let's just leave it alone. We're not going to lose this guy, right? What I would say is primary the shit out of this guy because he's not doing you any good. He's not
Mhm.
doing you any good. He's sitting in a seat that is he's gonna not going to produce any legislation. He might not even get a post office named. That's how bad this is. I mean, he had to reach out to Corey Mills and Dan Webster to try to get one of his bills to have any credibility whatsoever. Look, Anna Escamani, Carlos Guillermo Smith, you have talent out there that's going to be wasted because one's running for Senate, one's not budging out of her seat until she terms out. Um, she's working on a doctorate degree. She has more intelligence than the Uber driver, has. Period. This is a seat that as Democrats, you need to look at. You need to capture it with somebody who can get the job done, especially with a margin of error like you have in Washington D.C. There's no reason that Democrats can't get something passed.
Mm. I believe that Maxwell Frost and his allies have the ability to create a machine like the Chicago machine to bring up a bench of future leaders, credible leaders, respectable leaders. And right now, when you look at those seats that are up for reelection at the state level, locally, you'll see many of those seats unchallenged, many of those seats being held by Republicans unchallenged. And we're talking for all purposes, it's the beginning of January 2024. And to run an effective campaign, you need to get out there long before, 7 months before a
Yeah.
campaign, before the election, be 8 months, 9 months, 10 months. You have to put in the work. And again, the the Democrats are fumbling the ball. There you go, representing UW. And I get the
Did you
politics,
say?
but at the same
Did you
time,
say?
let's be realistic.
Did you
I'm
just
sorry.
say UW? Did you just say UW fumbles the ball? I mean, that's kind
No,
of how I.
no, I was making a football reference, and then I realized, I got my UW sweatshirt. They'll do fine.
Hey, well, listen, it's a hail mary, right? That's a hail mary for you. So I mean, it just happened. I just happened to get a little zinger in there. No, David, I agree. Look, I really wish the Democrats all the success they possibly can have anywhere but Florida, and listen, I truly believe that if we're going to pass legislation, if we're going to introduce legislation, let's introduce something that helps everybody. Let's make sure it has an impact on 50 states. Okay, let me look at you in the eye, Mr. Popsicle Stick. You need to think bigger if you're going to fix a problem. You can't just think of your state. 15 million over 5 years is nothing to solve a problem.
Elect good Democrats, push back on the Moms for Liberty, and we'll welcome our friends, Representative Frost, Representative Escamani, Representative Guillermo Smith, Mayor Demings, Mayor Buddy Dyer. We made some new friends in South Carolina who are snowbirds here in Florida, and they like what they hear, and the word is spreading. So we want to make sure that your voice is heard to our audience. So we welcome you all to be on our show. Next time we see each other, let's have that conversation.
So
Joel,
just one more thing. Tomorrow is I don't know when this was broadcast, but my birthday's on Friday.
that's right.
Carlos, all you Democrats, come on out and challenge me. Have a great time. Do me a birthday favor, right? Be the first Democrat to step up and be on. You can't make this shit up. Like, share, subscribe, and get your representative out here and hear from them. Thank you very much.